Okay, our next speaker is Sebastian Balu, and he's been working on open source identity management systems for 10 years, starting around the Openldap directory server. He's created different projects: LinID Directory Manager, a generic interface for user registration and accreditation, LSC provisioning engine, and an OpenLDAPCon equals config administration interface. He's designed and implemented different directory and web critical architectures. He recently joins, and I'm probably going to mess this one up, Dicteo, which is a French security software editor, and as future product manager. As the original developer and main active contributor for the LSC project, he is involved in spreading the project and always looking for technological improvements. Sebastian?
Okay, great, thank you. So before starting, I'd like to thank all of you for being there for the latest conference, latest talk, sorry. And I also want to thank also Daisy for organizing such a very great event. Thank you. This talk is about the LSC project. First of all, I've been presented, so now I'm going to the agenda. This project is mainly solving one issue, which already talked yesterday and today, is about directory synchronization. So I will just make some assumption about that, and we'll present to you the LSC project, make a short demonstration, and to be not like you, this is the question are going to be mine before yours. The question would be how to get updates notification from various directory, but we're going to see that later. Okay, so we already talked today and yesterday about how can you handle multiple data sources, and of course about directories. That is to say, how can you replicate Active Directory to some other directory, Openldap to OpenDJ, or how can you handle data migration? And at this time, probably most of you have already things, very crappy things, something like that. Just to explain what I mean, I know that at this time, most of you have already done a directory migration, because we already asked about that yesterday, but just a question to say, how many of you have already written a script for data migration? Yeah, probably most of you. And about the scripts which have been run only once? Yeah, also? Okay. So, you know what I mean, and you probably understand why we have started a directory synchronization project. There is also another reason we talked yesterday, is because most of LDAP servers are not providing a way to synchronize between them. They're not providing a way to synchronize data that you need to modify, but also even if you don't modify them, you cannot synchronize between various implementations. So to introduce the project, I have to say that, first of all, what we are looking for was an automatic synchronization tool. Because they exist, in fact, but they are quite expensive. They also are handling specific directories or specific database, or, for example, application with connectors, very complex connectors. And as an open source project, we are mostly interested in synchronizing files, databases, and directories, but directly from the protocols. But even if we're an open source project, we are interested in probably modifying the data model using a different DIT, maybe using different connection standards. That is to say, writing data to directories, writing to databases, writing to files, and probably doing things also with consistency. That is to say, transaction support, maybe two-phase transaction support, and so on. Another very useful feature that we were looking for is so read and write to any repository, maybe on the fly, with sort of data model integration. And we were looking for a very simple language to update data and to be able to map between source and destination, between the various data sources you are using. So that's why we firstly use JavaScript. And of course, what is very important is that you need to be able to adjust updates. That is to say, you may want to force value, you may want to keep the existing value with new values, or you don't want to change anything, but to know what must be changed. And of course, we have to do it quick. We have to do it with a very configurable way, with very powerful transformation. We need to do it as fast as possible. And at the end, we consider that you have two possibilities at this time. You can write your own Perl script, or you can use very expensive and probably complex enterprise extract and transform and load tools. And between those, we don't find anything. So that's why we created the project. The project is LSC, which stands for LDAP Synchronization Connector. It's an open source project for now 6 years, published for now 4 years. It's quite a small project regarding to Openldap, OpenDJ, or many of you. But in fact, it's quite useful, and it does its promise. Okay, so the fact is, what do you need? You need to read and you need to write everywhere. That is to say, at least, for example, to yellow pages, to a relation database, to files, to web service. You need to be able to script something. You need to be able to update records. And of course, because we are not going to do everything, we need to have an extensible API to be able to provide you a way to support your custom referential. Of course, we are there to talk about LDAP, so we are supporting various LDAP implementation, but I have to say that we are using GMAS, so we talk already about a pain in the ass, and this is really the case. So we're very happy if we can use either Apache or OpenDJ API. We're probably going to move on quickly. We are also supporting any JDBC connector, which allow to write, to read, and to get modification from various databases. And I'm probably going to show you in a quite few moments. We have been inspired by OpenLDAP, I have to say. So our modes are refresh and persist. That is to say, you can get the whole data, or you can get only the new data from the source. We get an on-the-fly event handling. That is to say, when you are modifying, we get a daemon that is going to check for updates. And we are using GMX to be able to manage our daemon either remotely or on a command line basis. And we get also dedicated libraries about encryption, very specific Active Directory flags, user account control for those who know that. We are also able to make some translation, not translation, but normalization for strings, because this is very classic manipulation. And what is quite important for us is to be able to provide you the best way to use our tool. That is to say, you don't need to have any Java knowledge, even if the product is based in Java. But in fact, this is an engine that you need to configure. And you need to write rules to be able to map the data, to transform it between the source and the destination. And that's why we're providing you the way to use your preferred scripting language. And I'm sorry, C is not supported at all, but you can use many of them. PHP Groovy, any Unix tools, Python, Ruby schema, and probably many more. Just before making you a short demonstration, let me just explain you how the engine is working. The LSC is just synchronizing data, so it is going to make a very clear view about the object he has to synchronize. And for every object, he gets the whole object and synchronize with the destination. And with that model, we can handle only the new or updated object. So we need a second step, which is a clean phase, where we are doing the reverse side. We are listing all the objects in the destination and check in the source if they exist or not. If they don't exist, of course, we delete them in the destination. An alternative way of handling that is the refresh and persist mode, which is asynchronous, in fact. That is to say, we are looking for every update that is provided by the source, and we put that in the destination. In fact, LSC is a quite command line tool with XML configuration file, but we, probably like you, like also graphical interface. And we are working on that for months now, but it's quite difficult to make it fully functional, so it's probably for next year. I'm going to demonstrate you the tool through a very simple use case. That is to say, synchronizing identities from an OpenLDAP to OpenDJ and PostgreSQL. The idea is to provide you a clear view of what you can do. And in fact, this is quite simple to do that. So thanks to the Apache DS studio guy, we may use this one. Thanks also to OpenDJ team, because we are also embedding OpenDJ as a test server. So I just started an OpenDJ server that is completely empty. Okay, just to check, I'm connected to it. I'm looking to the people branch, and the branch is empty. I have also a PostgreSQL installed on my client. Okay, I don't clean it, so I just empty the table. And now I get my OpenLDAP, which is my source, with various entries that you can, that you can see on the left. Okay, I just have only 8 entries, but okay, it's just for demonstration purpose. What is quite interesting in the tool is that you get an XML file that you can edit, and it's quite simple. At the beginning of the file, you get the connection definition. Okay, you are defining in that file 2 connections. One to our local hosts, hosted OpenDJ, and one which is on a virtual system which is hosting OpenLDAP. Just after that, we get a description of what the information we are reading from the source. Here we can see that we are reading a people branch, and we are using various attributes. We get several filters to know how to handle that. And we have also a way to define the DN that is going to be the destination DN. And we get a strategy, a policy, how to handle attributes. That is to say, I'm going to force every source value in the destination. And that's the only thing I have to do. And I have to start the server. And we have the server started, the server is loading, it is loading plugins and so on. And then he's going to read entries and to synchronize them with the OpenDJ. We move on a few weeks ago. Oh. It's not quite so long. We get it. Okay, so we get our various entries, and these entries are synchronized to our OpenDJ. Okay, that's quite cool. I'm just going to check. I get them. Great. One more time, I'm going to do the same for the database. So I get the same type of file, of configuration file for my database. I start the same tool, and the tool is going to be run to the Java environment. When I've done this, all my referential will be synchronized at a time. But the question is, how can I do that for 1 month or more? The fact is, when I started this, I started the demo, and I've connected to the Openldap server through a persistent search. That is to say, I will get all the updates that are done on the OpenLDAP, and I will put them on the various referential. I'm just going to check, okay, so the database is probably also synchronized, and now I'm just going to copy an entry in the source. Okay, I'm just going to rename it. And now I get it, of course, in the OpenLDAP, but I also have it now on the OpenDJ, and I also have now the same information there that have been synchronized on the fly to the PostgreSQL database. And if I want to fix the name, for example, I will show you that I am also that the project is also able to propagate modification. Sorry, I have to do it on the source. Could be better. So I modify the surname. I go back. I take a look. And the surname has been modified. In fact, what can be very interesting also is transformation, because the sample you see there is only a copy of the same data. I have said that you can use what you want at the languages. And for example, there, we have provided a description definition in which you say that you are going to force the destination value, because there is different policy. You can force, you can merge, you can keep depending on what you want. And you get a definition which is in JavaScript, that's the meaning of the prefix. And you are going to take the surname that you are going to put in uppercase, and you open a parenthesis, and you put something else, which is probably the mail attribute. And in fact, with this setting, you get data that is synchronized inside the OpenDJ, which is description, which was not present in the OpenLDAP server. So you get a way to have referential synchronized with the capability of making some transformation and some renaming, if you want, by writing that to a database and to a directory and probably to whatever you want. Just going back to the presentation. Okay. Sorry. What you have seen there is what we have done on the 2.0 version. We have done event handling, where we can now write to a database, and we are now supporting a plugin API. And for the next version, we are looking forward to be able to move to Apache OpenDJ LDAP API, because, as I said before, GMAS is quite awful. We are also looking for a two-phase commit. I talked about that with Kurt yesterday. Oh, yeah, that's for now. And we are also looking forward to be able to give you an administrative graphical user interface, including a scheduler, to be able to have a standalone tool. And the next major version will include probably data reconciliation through an embedded database, and will change the design. So try it out, please. My last part is a question, in fact, before yours. The project has been able to handle notification updates through various mechanisms. In fact, the persistent search through OpenDJ, for OpenDJ, OpenDS, and Oracle, Sun, Netscape servers, and through the LDAP content synchronization for Apache DS and OpenLDAP. But in fact, there is a bad part for that, is when we restart the tool, we have to synchronize all the database once again. And this is more a question, but probably a question that could interest more project and more product than us, is what the best way to do that is to use sort of LDAP client protocol update. This is to use the logs that are provided by every product, or it's us to handle a database, to store the information and to make the difference. And I know probably many of you have various ideas about that. So before taking your questions, I'm asking you now. Does some of the product leader wants to give an answer?
You have to restart a complete replication when you restart your tools with sync rep protocol. You just have to remember where you stopped when the tool has been stopped, and then when you reconnect, it just gets what has been changed since then. So I don't know about OpenDJ, OpenDS. They should implement the same sync rep protocol, and we say that for them 2 years, 3 years ago. But if they do, then your tool is okay. I mean, do you think so, well?
Yeah, I mean, content sync protocol is a superset of the client update protocol. I mean, it does everything and more.
Okay.
I don't see any reason to implement client update protocol. In fact, I think it should be killed.
Yeah. Okay.
While I agree, the P-search or client synchronization, you can work around it and avoid searching everything. The use of product logs is often a solution that you have to use because you can't change the server in production that you want to sync with. And at least I know for a Sun directory server, enabling the retro change log has a huge cost. People tend to enable the audit log, which is a flat file that contains the changes to synchronize them.
Okay, thank you. So now, is there any question? Oh, sorry.
You might also want to just support fallback to timestamps.
Yeah.
Because in many cases, that's what you'll need to do.
Okay. Thank you. So is there any question about the project or any features that can be achieved with it?
Hi. If one of the targets becomes down, I mean, if OpenDJ in that case, the network problem or something like that, how you handle this is a GMAS query or something like that, the event of change become lost. How do you handle this?
That's a good question. In fact, when we detect that the destination is not available, when we reconnect the destination, we launch a full synchronization. That's why this is quite awful, because even if there is a sort of network outage for just 1 millisecond, we need to synchronize the whole database. That's the object of my previous question.
I teach the courses for one of your commercial competitors. One thing I would suggest you should be able to do is have a queue of changes to each destination for that precise reason, that destinations going down is a very common problem. You dare not drop an update. You don't want to go back and do it all again. And I think the only safe thing to do is to queue it up.
Okay, I definitively agree. That's the latest 2 points. We need to embed a database inside the product, and we need to have a design which can handle a queue or a sort of buffer, persistent buffer, in fact.
And you possibly need to be able to go more general than that and be able to have the machines, the queues across machines. Because with some things you might want to synchronize into, you can only get at them with a local API. So you just can't reach them over the network.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
So it's very interesting what you showed, and I'm sure lots of us people will are needing such tools. Actually, we were writing similar tools for exactly the same problems. My question would be, very interesting is also this using sort of functions of programming languages to create new attributes. This description attribute in your example. What are you doing below? My strategy was to do this mapping and then have an entry and then compare this entry with the target entry and then make a diff and then process the diff. Yeah, exactly. You're doing it in that way. Thank you.
We're only pushing differences. Yeah. In fact, I don't show you that, but when you provide the log, we get there modification. That is to say, for example, we change the surname, and there is only the difference.
You say you're doing diffs. Is this by reading back the target entry and making that diff? Or do you have the option when you're using something like one of the Delta sync protocols to feed the synchronizer of just believing what it says?
Okay, we are rereading the destination, but the conception of the software splits the various parts. And in fact, the information that is provided by the source is a diff. It is a diff that's containing the updates and the full data of the results that is in the source. And we provide that to the destination. The destination service connector, in fact, can choose how it will handle that for a diff-based or a complete update. So it depends on the connector you are using, but most of the connectors now are using a diff approach.
Right, so you're believing in the change.
Yeah.
Which is good, it's efficient. There is a hazard, and that's if those attributes might be updated by anything else on the target, then the things may not be as you expect to find them, and your updates can fail.
Okay, that's why we have a different policy. That is to say, we can force the value from the source to the destination. We can merge them because they are changed, or we can keep the destination value if we think that the update might not be relevant. I take your point. Thanks. Also,
how do you maintain group memberships?
It depends on the destination directory. On classical LDAP directory like OpenLDAP, OpenDJ, and so on, it's quite simple because this is values and so on. The particular question you are asking is probably for Active Directory, which has a very strange way of handling that. So there is a special service for Active Directory, and especially for groups that are not handling the attribute inside the user, but a membership inside the group. So it's a sort of indirection, and the data is modified somewhere else, not on the person group list. Does it answer to your question? Yeah.
One very short question. Have you been thinking about implementing SPML for the provisioning stuff?
Yeah, we think about it, but as someone said before me, we are open source, so it may take some months or years, depending. But you're welcome if you want to provide some patch or to join the community. It's real open. So thank you very much.
Okay, last speaker.